It's one of those incredible circuits, but one where we get to travel back in time. It is the final bastion, and all the cards need to be placed down on the table. Are you going to be one of the 40 who make the world final at the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca? Are you going to be the one who gets to start on pole position at the biggest race of the calendar season for the MX5 World Sim Series? Welcome to Classic Silverstone, and welcome to the final month of racing. It's round 10 of 10, and it's here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone watching around the world. My name is Jake Sperry. Alongside me in the booth today for this one is Joey Atterbury. Mike Yao is on the director's chair today. He's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. But a circuit which is worth its name in gold. The first ever Formula circuit that has been out here, with all of the amazing action that has been around as seen on this circuit right up here and in front. Let's take a look at what makes this circuit so brilliant with our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Silverstone. Most famously known for being the first circuit to host a round of Formula One, this place has since become synonymous with British motorsports. Hosting everything from sports cars to touring cars to open wheels and even motorcycles, it's a track that fits a wide variety of vehicles. With 5 different layouts to choose from, you've got a little something for any level of racing. The longest of those layouts boasts 17 turns over more than 3 miles or 5 kilometers, so it can take a bit to get around it, even in higher-powered machinery. Its main characteristics are the long straights, swift corners, and general lack of elevation change. Its most famous set of turns is definitely the Maggots-Beckett sequence, in which anything with high downforce finds itself challenged with the rapid changes of direction. While there is a fair bit of paved runoff and quick corners like Copse and Stowe, the time lost from going off can be costly. There's a few turns with opportunities for overtaking, including Vale, Abbey, and Priory, but in cars with less horsepower, expect the slipstream to be where many attempt to get by. The Hangar Straight is perhaps the most notorious for draft battles to erupt. All in all, this versatile racetrack located just northwest of London provides both history in its roots and action on the tarmac. The huge number of British fans that typically attend events are seldom left wanting.
A circuit that is so befitting of all of the talent that has come across this season. Joey, this is a track that is going to feel very open and very long compared to what we've seen for the majority of this season, and there are 2 very great dueling overtaking opportunities on this track.
It is the legacy circuit, the old school Silverstone, and with these cars, you're right. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how they attack this place, but the biggest thing to note, turn 1, Copse, turn 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is the Maggots-Beckett's Chapel Complex that leads out onto the Hangar Straight. Remember, that is different than the current Silverstone layout. This is the old classic layout. Couple big passing opportunities, like Jake was saying, at the end of the Hangar straightaway into turn number 7, known as Stowe. And then, really, Jake, you ask me, I think the most interesting part of this track and this car combination is going to be from turn 11 all the way through turn 17, the final sector of the track. I think it actually suits this car a little bit more.
I think it does, and I think you're going to see some brilliant 2-wide sections going through that arena, through Bridge, all the way to Woodcote to end the lap. That is going to be absolutely sensational. This is, of course, 2 splits. Round 10 of 10. To book yourself into the top 40, you need a result here tonight. Drivers are raced in seeded splits, and each race is 25 minutes long. Now, the differences in the setups between races are as follows. It's a case of they use the baseline here for this first series, the baseline of the fixed rookie MX5 sim series. The advanced set is used, of course, in Division Number 1. So 2 different sets means 2 different speeds. And, of course, they've got unlimited fast repairs here today. So if you break it, jump in the spare car, get back out there and racing again. Joey, that, I think, is going to be crucial.
And it's all about getting that experience, especially here in Division 2. When we get to Division 1 later, it's a little bit more on the sharp end of the stick, but really, got to get out there, got to get experience. And if you make that mistake, it's kind of got the lifeline to go get that brand new car, get back out there and get to it.
Yeah, and getting to it, I think a lot of drivers are going to be looking to do today. Just before we take ourselves over towards the Simify starting grid, everybody here at the Global SimRacing Channel would like to pay our respects for the passing of one of the MX5 World Sim Series own in Neil Armstrong, someone who has raced with the Sim Race or the Sundays Drivers Club for a number of years and has been a massive part of the community. Everyone here from the Global Sim Racing Channel would like to pay their condolences at this moment in time. With that said, we are going to move over to the Simify starting grid as we are just a couple of moments away. Simify is the title sponsor of the MX5 World Sim Series. It's an online web shop housing a vast array of sim racing essentials for the next step in your virtual career. From steering wheels, seats, and handbrakes to even the common sim racing glove, Simify ships worldwide and is available to be seen both in English and Espanol. Use your discount code MX5WSS at checkout to receive a discount on your sim racing purchase by visiting www.simify.com today. Pole for Patrick Cantrell. Here's 209.630. More than enough to get it done. Michael Elliott will be alongside the company with Damien McMullen and Charles Kellyman on row 2. Luis Suarez and Carl Jacquelet are 5th and 6th with Pieter Hussens in 7th and Ronald Mones there in 8th position. Stephen Orrell, the man on the bubble, starts in 9th with Bruno Albino in 10th.
Then in 11th, we have Peter Reed in the number 43 car. Next to him is Rene Zegelar in the 12th place position. David Geddes in 13th. Melvin Tyne in 14th spot. Victor Oliveira in 15th. Martin Smith is going to be lined up in 16th. And then Alvaro Rodriguez in the 17th place position. Michael Tenegretta in 18th. And then on row number 10, Alif Imran and Alan Toon.
Kalle Rantanen will just miss out on the top 20. We'll have Bill Jenkins alongside on row 11. That then leads to David Mitchell and Stephen Elder with Shane Pettingill and Tim Brink. Mackenzie Mann is there in 27th, the last driver to set a time, which leads Enzo Sampaio surprisingly here in this split with Willem van Rassel, Armanula Bacchus, Arturo Davila and Sebastian Hain making up the drivers here today. The 31 in this second division, and all of the focus is going to be very firmly set on who can make that push forward. Number of drivers then might be watching the wrong way, but we know how important the racing is going to be. Watch out for the drivers in this championship. They are sorted with their driver number, with their championship position. It is going to be 25 minutes worth of racing. Lights on and lights out. Let's get ourselves going then with the Global Sim Racing Channel for round 10 of 10. Who will book their place into the final at the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca? Cantrell and Elliott side by side then as they rush through Copse and around the outside. Tries Michael Elliott, does not quite have the angle, but they'll remain side by side as they make that flat and fast run over to Magnus and Beckett's falling back into single file with McMullen now trying to sneak in. Backs out of it as they enter towards Maggots. A very nice clean start from the front.
He poked his nose in there, Damien McMullen, but the door was promptly shut by Michael Elliott there in the second place. It is Patrick Cantrell that actually runs a little bit wide as we go out of the hangar straight the first time. He is going to suffer big time on exit. Michael Elliott already around, and check out Damien McMullen in the draft.
And so, too, you've got so many drivers. Luis Suarez, his starts tied on points tonight with Stephen Orrell in the number 40 car. 3 wides they go through. Where do you go? Trying to find some moves. Incredible stuff. 2 or 3 wide everywhere you look. Going through Stove, down through the Vale, and heading towards Club's corners. This is absolutely huge. On the inside, little bit of contact there for third position as Carl Jacquelet has made a fantastic start and jumped up into fourth, looking now for third. All of this time is so crucial, and look at this through the middle of the pack. 2 and 3 wides are still there. Likes of Stephen Orrell, the Darius Scary car, is finding himself in the middle of all of this now. Everybody is jostling for position on the run to Abbey.
Really, the entire top 10, maybe even the entire top 15. They were about 3, 4, 5 wide coming out of Stowe there on the first lap. I'm also seeing the battle for 4th and 5th. I believe that's Peter Goossens making a move on Carl Jacquelet. Consider Patrick Cantrell right back in the mix. He made that mistake going out onto the hanger straight, but it looks like he's got things gathered back up.
I'll tell you what, the Belgian Goossens is going to be looking around, hoping that he's got a chance. He's got the other Belgian alongside him, the owner of Virtual Bell Car, Ronald Moens, who is trying to get himself the opportunity to make the pass. That not quite happening. Kellyman, the Jamaican, sat just behind that, and then there is Orrell. Now, we talk about how important the points are. Best 7 of 10 results score as it's on for the race lead between Suarez and McMullen. We focus a little bit further back. There it is, at the front of the field as they now run into Copse Corner for about 6th position, and so still trying to sort themselves out here. Patrick Cantrell moving a little bit backwards with Goossens, who is all there. It is all about the top 40 here today, Joey, and that is crucial because 40th, 41st, and 42nd are currently tied on points, and they need as many places as they can today.
You've ran the whole year, the whole season to get to these final couple of races. It's time to put your best driving on display and really let it all hang out. And remember, you can't crash it out. You got to collect those points as this is side by side for the lead. McMullen going defensive along the inside, but it's Luis Suarez around the outside. Who can break the latest?
Yeah, and there goes Suarez, the 3-wide racing car, which is trying to get some action off the exit. As that's happened, through the opening few corners there, through Maggots into Beckett's, Ronald Moens has spun the car. He's dropped way back. On the brakes goes McMullen as he waits to go through. Now, McMullen has been this driver in the Fleet ID machine, the Irishman, who has been begging for a victory all season, has knocked on the door for so long in any split he can get his hands on, and has been a bridesmaid pretty much the entire way through.
Well, you look at the entire top 10 right now, Jake, they're all line astern, nose to tail, whatever you want to call it. I have a feeling any slip up from any one of these drivers is going to result in a lot of track position loss. So as long as you are in this mix, I feel like you've got a shot. You just have to stay there.
Cantrell side by side then with Carl Jacquelet there in 4th and 5th. Little pivot to the inside there. That was almost the place stolen by Pieter Goossens, trying to sneak away through and gain that place. The number 94 car out of contention for the top 40, but is stage hunting here today, and everybody is looking to try and get some form of form out of Luffield Corner and around Woodcote and over towards the next stages of their race as they now push 1/5 of the race, almost score complete at this moment in time. Everywhere you look, drivers are searching, and remember, the bonus points are going to be really important here today, which included those for the likes of pole position, fastest lap, which is ticking over. Victor Oliveira has got that comfortably at this point, and then of course the hard charger.
I think the biggest curveball there one is that fastest lap, because with these cars, we got a big send. I believe that's Michael Ellett that's gone off the track from the 3rd place position. That is a huge change inside of the top 5.
And as he's got 36 on his number, he is going to be hoping that he's not going to be scoring too little points. It's 3 wheels on my wagon. There's a spin just in front as into the grass. Then will go someone else. It's Michael Tanner-Greta from the organisation who's gone around. Still, though, there's searches as they all look through on the brakes. And it has allowed, with that little bit of contact there, a gap between 2nd and 3rd. The break that they have been asking for at the front of this field.
And Patrick Cantrell actually has to go a little defensive. Carl Jacquelet around the outside. It's going to be side by side, but look at the extremely respectful racing between these two. There is currently room being given between these parties, and it is fantastic to see. Now it's lining up to be side by side. I'd also keep an eye on Goossens. He might even make it 3 wide depending on the run.
Well, Cantrell covers it off fantastically, but Jacquelet has to take 2 bites of the cherry in the Photo Media UK car. Can't find an angle to make the pass, and as such, has to just stay patient, looking for the inside at the very beautiful bridge corner. Up then to the hill for the off-camber Priory, one of the most incredible corners on this version of the circuit, and leading to the little bit of a tighter Brooklands corner, little bit of front there contact that goes through. Look at how it just checks up through the group. It goes all the way back here to Victor Oliveira, who sits there in about 10th and 11th place. So everybody who is looking around is thinking, well, there's still a chance for third. And it's been really that pack mentality that we've been seeing early as another little look to the outside from Goossens. He is really trying to get on the noisy pedal to find a pass.
Now he looks to the inside, but he's going to have to go back in line. Carl Jacklett with a nice run out of turn number 1, but this really isn't a passing opportunity. We're going to see where he's going to go with it. Go to the outside. That's going to put him on the inside as it switches back around. Yes, he is brave enough to try to go side by side between these two.
Yeah, and so aggressive over the inside curve. He took that perfectly and will take that third position back once again. So brilliantly done. And now he's going to leave himself to defend on the hanger straight. Now, these Miatas are so good when it comes to the slipstream. Look at it. They fan 2 and 3 wide. You've got Stephen Orrell, who's now on the outside of Goossens and Kellyman. There's your leaders at this point in time. Suarez is there leading, McMullen in second. It's behind that where it gets so absolutely fantastic. And on that outside defending again, there is not much that Jacklett can do about Patrick Cantrell, who's doing everything right. Look at them pinching through every single corner, just trying to give themselves enough space. And surely that outside line, that diamonding of the corner, will give Cantrell the run up to the Abbey.
It will, just kind of like what we saw the last lap, except this time he's going to choose driver's right. This is the standard racing line. He's going to have to go around the outside to this first part of the chicane. He's going to hang tough there. Jacklett kind of squeezes him, but Patrick Cantrell now has the run. He's also got the track position. As the track bends back to the right, he's going to clear Jacklett, but what can Carl do?
Well, throw it back up the inside at Priory Corner. That would be the first port of call. They have not had a chance to breathe in this race. Big move up and under. Slide there from Jacklett, and Cantrell takes advantage. Is it going to be a case of cookies? Thank you very much for Charles Kellyman in the optical car. No, it's not. So he's going to have to sit on the back and watch once more. Ever the patient driver is Charles, number 37. On his number, but he now finds that he is now sat behind as it's side by side for the lead. That's McMullen making the pass there in the foreground, who's moved into position number 1.
It was almost 3 wide behind them, but you're right. It is on for the lead, and look at how much they have stretched out. That battle that we were watching, well, it is 4 seconds behind these front two. I think McMullen and also Suarez see that in the mirror, and they say, you know what? We can actually fight a little bit right now, not have to worry about anything behind us.
Yeah, they've afforded themselves the opportunity to go out there and race. It's up to everyone else now to try and chase that down. And again, wide off the exit has gone Patrick Cantrell, and he's got to be very concerned about doing that because he just loses all of that run. Both Jacklett and Kellyman find their ways through. Orrell side by side with Goossens at this point too. As look at it, everybody's looking for a battle here today. And if you thought that this was going to be a quiet 2 races here tonight, Joey, well, this is the MX5 World Sim Series. They don't do quiet, do they?
No, we're 10 minutes into a 25-minute race, and it is still lined up nose to tail. You saw Charles Kellyman just kind of get smushed out of the way there. Lets around 3 of the cars. That is Carl, Patrick, Peter, Stephen Orrell now lined up in that 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
That was a huge slide from Charles Kellyman. He was very lucky to keep his race going. He's now got Victor Oliveira over the back of him, searching as we focus with that 38 machine. There's the 40 right now in yellow, the man on the bubble coming into tonight. Stephen Orrell, the Darius Scary racing car, is looking to try and cement a place in this one. But with Luis Suarez out there in the front of the field, he's going to be one of the drivers who's going to be looking around thinking it's going to be a bit scary. So too will the driver in 39th position look to try and get some points. Melvin Tyne, by no stretch of the imagination, is safe on board. Look at the wheel work having to be done here by Orrell through Luffield.
I've noticed kind of these cars are skating around as MX5s do, but if you get too greedy with them, it's very easy to overdrive. And when you actually try to manhandle the car and overdrive it, you end up going slower. I grew up racing MX5s and Miatas. It's kind of tricky, but the slower you drive them, the faster they go.
It is that really weird dynamic of go slow to go fast because you scrub so much speed off of the exits. It is just worth it. There is one of the cars down there in the back, one of the Spirit cars there that's in a little bit of bother, I would say. That is the number 72 machine of Arturo Davila, who has dropped down from 20th position. That's Carl Jacqueline.
Yeah, that was into the Beckett's Chapel complex, and he is around just like we saw one of the front runners, I believe it was third place earlier, completely by himself. A little bit of deja vu, just a different car.
And will that cost him his place in the top 40? That's going to be a really important point of call. He's going to really have to fight to get any places back from that as they still scrap there. There's Bruno Albino, the second of the three wide racing cars there, losing out to Peter Reed through Stowe Corner. And all of a sudden, the race to get in, you can tell it means a lot to everyone. All the main players of the game are up near the front. They want points.
They want points, but in order to get the points, Jake, you gotta finish the race, and if you make these mistakes, you just have yourself to blame on it all. It's a shame. We've seen quite a few of them already.
Let's take a little look then at exactly how that went with our GSRC replay. There's the slide, all the smoke in the world from the Photomedia UK car. There's a very pretty shot, I'm sure to say it, but not what you want when you're on your own and you just put a little bit of rotation in. It's a very finicky car when you go over the limit of grip.
You have to balance them. I mentioned I kind of grew up racing these cars, and somebody explained it to me the best. You have to have them on the complete limit. If you could go out there and stand on the racetrack and physically push on that rear quarter panel, it would be enough to send this car around. That's the limit that you have to drive it on.
And that's the limit that these drivers all have to focus on with 11 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in this race. Some serpentine at the front from Pieter Hussens at this point. The Belgian having to play the defensive pack with Patrick Cantrell. They have driven each other, this entire group, out of the race for the victory. It will be McMullen versus Suarez unless something happens between them. But at least for these drivers third on back, they've got that focus. There are your top two. There is number 41, who will be absolutely over the moon that there is a gap behind him because he knows how important these points are.
I mean, tip of the cap. It's really impressive what both McMullen and Suarez are doing. I mentioned it was a few seconds. Well, it's grown to over 5.5 seconds, almost 6 seconds they've got till that third place battle, and that battle continues on. So these two, they got 10.5 minutes to continue stretching that gap, and then probably the last two, you fight it out and have absolutely nothing to worry about.
And there just behind, you can see Stephen Orrell is trying to really cut his losses here today. If he can get up to third, he will feel like he's done a very good job, as there are your top two at this moment in time. Everybody still swarming about, and you would argue right now that group third over to about 11th place still has a legitimate shot of getting some really big points out of this racing. Crossing the beams goes Patrick Cantrell as Orrell has the defensive line into Abbey. Really takes that line fantastically and holds it off, but he might struggle here for a run through towards Bridge. Cantrell setting that up quite nicely here through the fast right hand, 157 kilometers an hour, and it's light on the brakes. You've got to go down to about 110 to take the off-camber left.
And you mentioned the battle from third to about 11th or 12th that we're watching. Oh, some more contact there between Cantrell and Orrell. I think Cantrell is getting a little bit balked up behind Stephen Orrell. That puts Kellyman right in that mirror. He's going to have to be very, very defensive. But Jake, back to that point, you said third through 11th. This is a battle for the final podium spot.
It is, and that final podium spot is going to be massive. These drivers all know and understand that they want to end their seasons on a high if they haven't booked their space in the top 40, or if they are trying to, so to speak. They are very much all eyes everywhere at this point. Every position will matter, and where can you find an opportunity to overtake and find that extra bit of pace that's out there streaming through? Maggots now through the left, heading to Beckett's corner here, the right, and then Chapel, which is the left, that flicks onto the hangar straight. And that important long run, which has been so very crucial to a lot of drivers, and they're overtaking everybody, following everyone else's slipstream like they're at a brickyard.
Yeah, and then you see just a little bit of difference there. Oral just choosing to go straight down there. I think he's got enough of a gap with Patrick Cantrell in the mirror. And then one of the cars, actually, I believe that was Peter Reed, sending it a little bit deep. But now Stephen Oral, he's going to have to move defensive. It's really been all Patrick Cantrell, this orange car. He's been very, very aggressive today, Jake. But he keeps making... Oh, my goodness. I'm not sure who that was. Maybe Victor Oliveira. Holy smokes.
Oliveira pretty much saying gangway, everybody makes a move. There's more troubles out there. It's one of the Spirit 14 cars there. That's Alvaro Rodriguez, who finds himself in a bit of a pickle going through, and that is going to be the toe. That could have been a disaster show for everyone, but what great heads-up driving from everyone to leave legitimately just a car's width. Reminded me so much of what happened to Dennis Hauger a couple years ago at F2.
That was incredibly close. It just goes to show you how close everybody is on those brake markers, and if you have one of them shielded from your view, you miss it. Oh boy, you better also be looking in the mirror in case somebody behind you makes that mistake.
Yeah, and these mistakes, they do add up, and although they don't have an instant point limit to deal with here today, Joey, with this series, you do, though, have to deal with the fact that you might just have a couple bits of your Mazda MX5 falling off the side, and of course with this on iRacing's new damage model, you don't want to have anything falling off. Bonus points for Stephen Oral with that fastest lap. He'll take those.
Really nice lap, a 209.805 so far, the purple fastest lap. But as these cars burn fuel, I predict they will get a little bit faster. But I think the biggest thing is they go side by side into one of the coolest sections of racetrack ever anywhere on this planet. It's more going to be that draft. If you can time up a lap that you really can take advantage of the draft, I think that'll snag that purple lap.
Yeah, and that's the key, having that slipstream. Look at it for the race lead, almost into the grass goes Luis Suarez there at the front of shot. That could have so easily have been the top two turned around at that moment in time. Still on there for that third position, Oral, Hosens, Cantrell, Kellyman, Reed, all there. It's now sort of broken up a little bit with those battles. It's now 5-3 you effectively have at this point, as they pretty much form the peloton giving chase.
So, Jake, I've been watching this lead battle as this second group here continues to fight on. I think Damian McMullen, he's certainly posturing himself a lot in a defensive sort of kind of area of the track. I think Luis Suarez kind of pushing the limit a little bit. But the more you push the limit, the more McMullen's going to block. How much is he going to block before contact is eventually made?
Oh, speaking of which, we've almost got it. In fact, we do, because Stephen Oral, the man on the bubble, has gone around, and he's been able to keep it back going again, but it will cost him behind Rene Zegelaar out there on circuit. So he'll be demoted outside the top 10, and surely now he will know that Luis Suarez is going to gain some massive points on him.
Yeah, and with Luis Suarez way up there in second place, he's doing everything right.
There's Cantrell. So now, just on the left-hand side, Patrick Cantrell as well now goes around, and suddenly the powder keg explodes with 5 minutes.
And it was just another self-inflicted mistake from this black and orange car. We've seen it so many times going out onto the hangar straightaway, but this time in a different area of the racetrack. He finds himself buried in 13th now.
Yeah, he's buried with the GTD racing cars there, the likes who are going forward. This is an important moment for him, because Cantrell's got David Geddes and Martin Schmidt, who are both there, who are both trying to make those moves through the opening corners. The nice purple rims, which are there trying to showcase themselves in all their glory here at Silverstone. But you're going to need more than purple wheel rims to get yourself past and to make those moves. Style points, you certainly give.
I like purple wheel rims just as long as the racing is good, and look at what it is up front. This is the onboard from Luis Suarez in second place. He's going to try to look around the outside of our leader, Damian McMullen. He carries the outside line. Can he keep the momentum down? McMullen is able to put the power down, but look at this. Luis Suarez in the perfect opportunity now.
He's got the inside line through the veil into club corner, and he settles it there. Does the three-wide racing driver, the man on the outside looking in, trying to not bubble the world final at the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. This is important for him. Every point matters because, of course, he'll get some more bonus points for winning the race outright. On the brakes he goes in towards Abbey, and he will realise now that he will have to play defence for what will be the final 2 laps of his race.
And leading and following are two completely different things. We're about to see if the 41 can basically get out there in clean air, turn off all those mirrors, turn off the black boxes, just set the fast laps and run away from Damian McMullen, or is there going to be mistakes out of the leader that's going to draw him back?
The biggest mover and shaker in the field right now is Sebastian Hain in the 108 car, up 14 spots. That is the hard charger at this moment in time. There are still, though, many different points that are trying to be scored, and every single point is going to matter. There's an extra 3 championship points on the line if you can win this race here in Division 2. Let's not forget the points that are there for pole position, which is another further 2, and then the fastest lap, another 2, and the hard charger, another 2. Everywhere you look, 2 and 3 points, they add up pretty quickly.
You just have to collect them all, kind of like Pokemon cards out there. You gotta catch them all, and right now Patrick Cantrell's still trying to work his way back up from those self-inflicted wounds that he has done earlier in this race. He's got a busy group in front of him, and actually, Jake, up front, it's separated. Luis Suarez killed it going out onto the hanger straight that time, left Damian McMullen in the dust.
Yeah, but you got to remember there's slipstream, and that gap will always start clawing its way back in, and McMullen will just look to try and gather that momentum, brings that gap to 3.5 tenths of a second with some pretty elite braking, has to be said, from the Fleet ID driver. Now looking for that look, there's still going to be issues on behind. This is the group that is led by Carl Jacquelet. He's done very well to get back inside the top 10 with Imran, with Cantrell, with Martin Schmidt as well. This might be saving his top 40 place.
That's a really good point that you bring up. Carl Jacquelet made that mistake earlier, spun through that Beckett's Chapel complex, but here he is in the front of this pack. He does have quite a big of group in terms of track position to the next position, but hey, you know what? Good recovery drive.
It is a great recovery at this moment. Everywhere you look, there's overtakes, as Kellyman's just lost one to Bruno Albino. There is first and second right now, and it's 6 tenths of a second that sits, and soon Barney will wave the white flag, which will indicate there'll be 1 lap left of this race, and Suarez is just flexing his muscles at the right time.
I think that he has done an excellent job in terms of when he made the move. Remember, we documented they were about 5 seconds out in front. That's grown to nearly 8 seconds between second and third place. Luis Suarez waited till the end of the race, made the clean move, and now he's driving away.
Well, what more can he do? He's got one of the most iconic helmets on of the legendary Ayrton Senna, and that might be fueling him with everything he's got. But McMullen's had a fantastic start to this lap, has already cut the gap in half, down to 3 tenths of a second. Rushing through now the chicanes. It's going to be all about the trail break, how that rotation is going to be crucial. And was McMullen playing possum? He's now looking for the chance here through Beckett's and in towards Chapel. Suarez is absolutely on rails coming out of this section, but McMullen will now throw the kitchen sink at it.
And this is going to be important. I think McMullen just has to use this slipstream, get a good run through Stowe, not even make a move here, but there is another passing opportunity after turn 10, after club, into Abbey.
Yeah, slightly missed apex there from Luis Suarez, and the pressure is really telling. He's going to have to go hard defensive here, as now McMullen looking for the ultimate pivot to the inside. Doris Avenue shut, and there's not much that you could have done there. If you're McMullen, he gets a slide, and suddenly the gap materializes again for Suarez, back up now at 0.6 of a second. No mistakes from here, and Suarez will be home and dry in a race like this, and an important race like this for his championship aspirations. He is looking for the last grid spot available. Oh no, it's gone around just like that. Luis Suarez, and the win has just vanished in the blink of an eye. And Damian McMullen, who has been all season long a bridesmaid, will just have the arena section to go. It might not even be a podium here today for Luis Suarez, because Peter Hossens has now made his way around and jumped up into third place. Peter Reid now in second. Damian McMullen will drive his way around Luffield Corner, and oh, is this so sweet as he will come to the line, driving through Woodcote, and will take Division 2 and finally gets his win.
What a finish. It will be Peter Reid and Peter Hossens in that second and third place, rounding out the podium. A nightmare final lap for the fourth place car, Luis Suarez.
Oh, he could have had so many extra points there, but will that be enough to secure his place at the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca? That's going to be the ultimate point of contention that he's going to look at as the rest of the drivers start cycling their way over the line very quickly as they are finishing. We have the opportunity to run through then some results here from Division 2, and what a 25 minutes that we've had. In fact, call it a bit more, call it 26 minutes here today and 23 seconds. Damian McMullen takes it by 7 seconds over Peter Reid, with Pieter Hossens in third. Luis Suarez would finish fourth ahead of his Portuguese teammate Bruno Albino, with Charles Kellyman in sixth and Melvin Tyne a very quiet seventh place. Rene Zeglar would be eighth, Stephen Orrell in ninth, and the top 10 rounded out by Alif Imran.
We have Martin Smith here in the 11th place position. Alvaro Rodriguez will finish in 12th. David Geddes in 13th place. Patrick Cantrell, who we documented so much today, finishes 14th after several mistakes. Same with Carl Jacqueline. He did have a good recovery drive after that early mistake spinning outside of the top 5. Michael Tanner-Greta will finish in 16th. Amanala Bacchus in 17th. Sebastian Hain 18th. Sir Alan Toon in 19th. And Steven Edler will round out your top 20.
Willem van Rassel would be back there in 21st, with Shane Pettingill and Kalle Rantanen. Arturo Davila 24th. Still a lot of drivers who finished on the lead lap today, including Michael Elliott, David Mitchell, Tim Brink, who has to have the help, of course, of his physiotherapist to get him through all of the races, doing a great job in 27th, with Bill Jenkins, the last finisher on the lead lap, leaving Victor Oliveira, Mackenzie Mann, who normally makes great progress through the field, and then finally Ronald Mones, unable to find a finish then in this race. We are going to have a look then at your championship standings very quickly as we rush on over forward. Ade Koba, get this here, Joey, just the 1 point clear at the top. Jason Cooper sits just 7 back. They're racing for pole coming up very shortly.
I can't wait to see what Division 1 really brings us. If you liked Division 2, well, this legacy combo with Silverstone, these MX5 cars, I think it's proving to have some incredibly tight racing. I really can't wait to see it.
5-Star Motorsport have jumped up ahead of Obsidian Racing. No surprises, Obsidian are down to just 1 driver, and they should hold on to second. It'll be a good battle between the Negative Delta by Bueller's and Next Gen Racing teams, to 3rd and 4th in the team's championship, and some good points will be scored up and down the order on that. Nations Cup as well should be a very interesting prospect to keep in mind too, with the United Kingdom and Spain in their battles, Joey.
It's all coming down to this here, Jake. Everybody has raced so far this season. You just got to keep collecting the points and got to keep on chugging along. As you said, Spain leading the United Kingdom 220, about equal distant gaps between the UK and Bulgaria as well. But oh man, that really the race for that 3rd place, only about 40 points separating Bulgaria, Finland, United States. I can't wait. You know, we're just going to have to wait to see how it all plays out. And then also Laguna Seca here in just another month's time.
Yeah, that's all going to be key. That's coming up in just a couple moments. Stay with us here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Division 1 comes up after this. Cool. Let's interview Damien when we come back. Gentlemen, to the MX5 World Sim Series regular season finale here at the Silverstone circuit. The race for the top 40 now brings itself to Division 1, but there were some big results with Division number 2. Joined with us right now is Damien McMullen, who picked up the victory overall in Division 2. Damien, you've been searching for a win all season long. You've been knocking on the door so many times. Welcome to victory, my friend.
Thank you very, very much. Oh my God, I'm absolutely adrenaline's pumping here at the moment. I just never think I was going to get a win out of the season, but it finally came.
Well, it was almost the perfect scenario. It all broke clear for you about halfway through the race. You had that ability to run forward, and then it looked like with 5 corners to go, it wasn't there, but someone's prayers got answered.
Yeah, I say the players, I was thinking to myself, all right, just don't make a mistake. Somebody might make a mistake. My crew chief was saying, just put pressure on, and more like that happened. I feel sorry for you. Like, what a drive, 2 of us back and forward, didn't kill each other, and it was just great racing, clean.
Great racing, clean racing, and hopefully that is a brilliant way to end the season. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Damien?
I just want to thank all my sponsors, but I especially want to dedicate this to my eldest brother. Unfortunately, I lost him 4 months ago in a tragic car crash, but I dedicate this to Mark. Love you, bro.
And such a poignant moment here today at Silverstone. Damien McMullen with a huge victory there. Second place overall would be Peter Reid. He stood by with Joey Atterbury.
Peter Reid, congratulations on the second place finish today. Uh-oh, Pete, we have you? You copy us?
Yeah,
Jake?
you got me. Sorry.
Okay, perfect. No problem there. Congratulations on the second place.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm so pumped after that. Brilliant.
Well, talk to me about the last lap, because they were way out front, about 7 seconds in front of you, and all of a sudden, it was dropped into your lap.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I didn't even realise I was second until I crossed the line. Saw a car spun out, but presumed it was a back marker. But that was those last couple of laps defending against Pieta, was it? That was amazing.
Yeah, it was a really, really awesome battle, real fast. I know that you had your hands full the entire race. What is it like when you've got your hands full and then you get a great result out of it?
Oh, it's amazing. I just bided my time. I sat there and just waited for them. I knew a group like that, there's a few odd mistakes and just capitalise each one. And he got taken out a couple of times with flying cars. But that was brilliant. And that last 5 laps was really tough. I've never had such an intense race.
Well, congratulations on surviving the chaos, and one more time, really good job on the second place.
Thank you. It was brilliant. Cheers.
That was the driver, Peter Reid, who just finished second place in the Division 2 race.
Very, very crucial results out there, as qualifying here for Division 1 is just about reaching the embers of this race. A very crucial run it has been over the course of this season. And this race, although a lot of these drivers have booked their place, have qualified themselves through, we'll be looking at one thing, and one very important thing in general. That is to get themselves a pole position, or as high as possible for the grid, at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. We'll take ourselves now over to the Simify starting grid. Of course, the title sponsor, as it has been since round 2 of this championship. It is an online web shop housing a vast array of sim racing essentials for the next step in your virtual career. From steering wheels, seats and handbrakes to even the common sim racing glove, Simify ships worldwide and is available to be seen both in English and Espanol. Use the discount code MX5WSS at checkout to receive a discount on your sim racing purchase by visiting www.simify.com today. An important qualifying in terms of how everyone's been lining up. It is the number 1, Ade Koba, who has the pole position here today. He's got it with a 207.9 ahead of Jason Cooper, who will be alongside him for company. Vladislav Shopov will line up third, with Fernando Antley fourth and Jaume Dalmases in 5th position. David Chapman will start 6th. Great qualifying for him, with Morgan Burkhardt in 7th. And then you've got Enzo Sampaio in 8th. A great qualifying from him. Decided he only wanted to watch Division 2. Adam Delmont will lead an all-Adam 5th row, as the Toon Boy, Adam McNally, will start 10th.
Yordanon Svetanov here in 11th. Tiro Tillis will share that row number 6 with them. Jameson Sampaio in 13th. Nuna Ferrara in, 14th. Ewan Bremer in 15th. Edward Grobe in 16th. Miles Owens rounds out 17th. Matt Tempest in 18th. Alexandra Longo in 19th. And then Carl Wincop in 20th.
Watch out for Matt Tempest. He might sneak into the top 40 if he gets a good enough result. Roberto Bruno and Sandavara are on row 11, with Laurent Sebastian and Stefan Alderding on row 12. Tom Daly and Eugenio Pulici are 25th and 26th, with David Morales, Pedro Marimon, and then Klearchos Duvantzis making up the 29 drivers here today. The final 3 not setting a representative time. It's the same time as before, 25 minutes, but the difference is stark. Who can put themselves into position to take pole? Jason Cooper's going to need misfortune from both the Spaniards today, in Ade Koba and Fernando Antley. For Fernando Antley to take the pole at WeatherTech Laguna Seca, he will need to finish inside the top 7 and ahead of Ade Koba. Lights on then, for the final time in the regular season. They are underway. A great start by Ade Koba. Jason Cooper in the 5-star motorsport car, not so much. We'll have Vladi Shopov hounding down the inside in towards turn number 1, looking for every place he possibly can. They're going to battle through. No nose to nose as they now look to drive towards Maggots and Beckett's here on this opening charge. Everybody scampering out, trying to use as much of the road as they can and avoid dramas. It's been a nice, clean start.
Fernando Antoli decided to push Vladislav Shopov into that second place, down that small straightaway there, and now we go through Maggots, Beckett's, Chapel, and out onto the hangar straight for the first time. Ade Koba leads the group, Vladislav Shopov second, Jason Cooper and company come in very fastly.
Yeah, but you can't afford to drop that time early. It is so crucial to stay in range, and everybody is looking at the slipstream game, and it's already broken up to about Tero Tillis at this point. Adam Delmont is the caboose of the train at this point as they rush through Stowe Corner and head off towards the Vale and, of course, Club Corners right now. Vladislav Shopov hasn't had a victory all season long, 6th in the championship. My, would he love to turn up. Big amounts of smoke in the back.
Yeah, I think that was Stefan Alderding as well as maybe one or two other cars having some problems through Stowe on the first lap here, just getting everything up to temperature. Caught out a couple of those drivers.
I think it was Laurent Sebastian who is the driver who went all around, and then Alderding got caught up with it. One of the SDC Spirit 14 cars, I think it was Pedro Marimon, who was the other driver who ended up taking a little tap from it. No harm, no foul, let's keep playing. At this point, Ade Koba leads for Simify Sim Racing, one of the brand new teams that has brought itself into the fold, and what a crucial start they've had. Simify have been absolutely everywhere when it's come to the top end scene. They've even given themselves an IMSA berth when it's come to the Sim Racing Championships.
And look at how close they are all racing inside of the top 10 here. That's why they're given those opportunities, as it's producing some amazing racing out here on the racetrack. I'm seeing first all the way through 8th place, tucked in nose to tail here, Jake.
And everybody is looking for points, and especially the driver in 6th position at this moment in time, number 23, Morgan Burkhardt, a driver who has raced so much in the SCCA series right now for the Parallel Racing Group. Your timing and scoring at GSRC.tv, but an incredible driver he has been. Got his first win last time out, and he is trying to book as many points as he can, get up as high as he can for a great starting position at Laguna Seca.
Well, and he's right here in this front group. Like you said, he has plenty of experience in these types of cars. He races them in real life. I know he does some open wheel stuff as well, all in that SCCA kind of group. So he is in position right here. He's doing exactly what he needs to.
Well, who attacks and who defends? That's the question. Here goes the look from Vladislav Shopov as Fernando Antoli also sends a heat seeker down the inside and gets it sorted. Here's the up and under from Ade Koba, looking to try and get this one back. He has been a driver who has been so incredible for so many years as Ade, and there's contact in the back. It's going to be David Chapman, who's gone around in the Year 1 motorsport car.
Yeah, and I think there's actually a little bit of contact. That was from the inside of Morgan Burkhardt. Morgan was just holding his line out there. I think the car spun around to the inside that sent it up in there. So just unfortunate to see one of the cars around.
Yeah, and how quickly he falls down the order. He's now back in 15th position, not what the doctor ordered. You look through this group, Shopov leads, Koba second, Antoli third, but what a star-studded lineup that is, 2nd through 5th behind Vladdy Shopov right now. You have got the bulk of all the wins this season behind, including the summer of Jaume Dalmases. Now, he was someone who got 3 wins straight, and here's someone in the Zenith Esports car that would love to jump this group.
I think that's just kind of the story of all of these races, though, Jake, is that you look inside the top 10, any one of these drivers can really win this thing. Just given the opportunity and the track position, they're going to snag it.
Let's take a look at what happened here to David Chapman on the break. So he sent one up the inside, looking for the pass on Burkhardt, and I think he just ran himself out of room there. Absolutely clobbers over the grass there. That little bit of a tuft he basically jumps over. That wasn't going to help the straight lines they go through. Fastest lap for Fernando Antoli as he looks to chase, and way out in the grass there in the background goes to Jordan Svetinov. He's having a fantastic run today.
Yeah, up a few positions already, just needs to keep that momentum going, and who knows how many points you can pick up. And you were talking about Division 2, all of these extra points that are available, fast lap, hard charger, they're all up for grabs.
They all are. Here goes Ade Koba looking to make that move on the hanger straight. Back to the point here to pick that place off, and he'll be very happy about it. Now watch out, Vladdy, because Fernando Anthony loves to attack, and he definitely wants to get against his former teammate. Fernando Anthony, the only driver who stayed at Obsidian between himself and, of course, Pablo Espes as well, who moved to Wave Italy for the Grand Prix Turn Racing iRacing Series. So for Fernando Anthony, there is a point of pride that he's holding on to at the moment, being the only Spaniard who stayed at the Super Team.
I love this front group here, and you're right, there is a point of pride of staying with your team, and if there's others that leave, you're still racing in the same series. You gotta go out there. You're no longer your friendly teammate. You're kind of frenemies now. You can joke, you can kid, but when it comes down to track time, you gotta get to it.
You absolutely do, and that is going to be crucial. And you talk about crucials in terms of points. You've got to keep your eyes out on the two Sampaios, son and father at this point. You've got Enzo Sampaio, and then, of course, you've got just in front of him, Father Jameson, who will be looking for places too. So they're going to be some drivers to keep an eye out on at this point. Looking there at Morgan Burkhardt, there are the two Sampaios, and that battle going on just in front of them. That's Tero Tillis losing out the place, the Finn there. Seeing Jordan Svetanov, the Bulgarian, jump on through in the positive delta by Bueller's car. They're making a very, very lovely move.
And we saw in Division 2 kind of some self-inflicted mistakes, and I think that was the first one. But these cars, I mentioned, you really have to drive them on the edge, on the limit. That also includes on the limit of the racing line. If you overstep that limit just a little bit, you're in the gray stuff, you're not in the grippy stuff, and other drivers, they'll take advantage of you.
And they have, with the way that the battle packs have formed. You can sense that gap. 5 seconds already is huge around a race like this one today. Everyone is banking on trying to score some points, and this second group, you can certainly see it with those who look back there. Nuno Ferreira in the 71 with the fastest lap bonus point, but there is number 3, Jason Cooper, who is looking to try and charge forward and gain what he can, as many points as possible. Here goes Vladdy Shopov back to the inside, looking to take the race lead away once again, but has he overcooked it through the corner? Up and under will try Ade, looking for that chance. He's going to fall back into line, but as you lift off, everybody else is going to want to try and get through and gain a place, and that's going to be where it's crucial. Look at that around the outside. He had 2 tyres in the grass making the pass there. Did one Mr. Jaume Dalmases. He has pulled a worldie on Jason Cooper.
I think he got lucky with one. You called it perfectly. 2 tires in the grass in the brake zone. Luckily, he had enough rubber on the concrete, but he's still side by side with Jason Cooper. Jason Cooper has the inside leading into this corner, but the track switches back, and he just barely clears over Dalmasis.
Well, here's the issue now. They're 9/10 of a second away. The rubber band is 1 to 1.5 seconds, so they've got to get some unity here in this group. Otherwise, they're going to be gone, those top 3.
Yeah, but you had said earlier, the draft effect, it's so big in these MX5s. It's because of that open cockpit style. You don't have the hard top on. It's just a very inefficient aerodynamic design. It doesn't keep pushing through the air. That's why so many cars can close in from behind.
Yeah, and so you get that sense of all these drivers who have this ability to close. This is a really important moment of the race. This is the meat and potatoes of the race, so to speak. You've had your entree, you've had your starter, now you're in the meat and potatoes. Go put the laps in and set yourself up for dessert.
And you can't make any of those mistakes. You got to be neat and tidy. The top 3, they tried to escape, but Jason Cooper has already rubber banded that second group back together here. So with, once again, 1st through 7th now.
And the quiet driver on the back is in 7th position. Adam Delmont is there. He got very, very close to victory at Virginia. Hasn't really been able to have the same pace to charge. He's been a nearly man all season, just off the cusp by a 10th or 2 that has always seemed to cost him. But on that front straight, Ade Koba again looking for the pivot, and this is where you're going to have to be clever. This is why this is the thinking man or the thinking person series out here, Joey, because every time you're in a group like this, you've got to think, do I want this move or not, and do I have enough time to hold on to it?
Well, and I noticed something there. Ade Koba down the hangar straightaway, he chose not to use the slipstream. Now, he actually had an excellent run onto the hangar straightaway, so I wonder if he's just trying a few things out, content following for now, maybe just adding to that notepad of lists of things to try for later.
Yeah, he's certainly keeping his eyes focused, studying all the movements of Vladislav Shopov, who leads this race, and all those drivers behind are going to want to jump on this group and try and find an overtake. That is going to be their next port of call. If they can manage it, if they can find it, if there is any opportunity to make that pass, they will look to try and do it at the last available opportunity once more. Here goes Jaime Dalmas's looking for the move, this time at Brooklands corner, trying to rush around the outside of Luffield, and he might find himself vulnerable to Morgan Burkhart here, the American, who's on the inside, but he can't quite get the run here and will have to fall back into line.
I know that Dalmasas knew the long way around there was never going to work, but maybe he thought she could over-under. Morgan Burkhart did a great job filling that hole. Unfortunately, could not get the pass done. You're going to have to come up with a new opportunity, but Dalmasas still right on the back of Jason Cooper here.
Yeah, and all those points are crucial. Now, we have been to Silverstone once already this season. We ran the national layout for round 2 of this championship. That one was a huge win for none other than the driver who finished off in second, or is second at the moment in the championship by a solitary point, that being Fernando Antoli. And points, we talk about being crucial because they don't just gain the points, Joey, here today on Sunday. They had to work last week through the qualifying to seed themselves into where they need to be. 20 points on offer if you can get the fastest time through seeding day qualifying.
And I kind of like that schedule type of deal where it's not just race week where you have to put in the time and qualify there. You have to put in the prep time. You have to do the practice laps. There are points on the line, not just in the race here. And the other thing that I like about that, it forces the competitors to really prepare for each of these tracks.
Oh, and that preparation is paramount at this point over the halfway stage of this race. Defensive lines being taken here by Ade Koba, and he's not going to see a move here up at Abbey, which means that patience once more will prevail, and this group will be very content at staying line as they are, 1 through 7, not wanting to risk anything in the way that their race is conducted at this moment in time. You cannot ask to make a mistake, because you know that mistake eliminates you from race-winning contention. Everybody is on the edge, and the zenith of that edge is currently Jaime Dalmasas. He looks the most likely to make a move.
Well, and I've been saying it all race long, 1st through 7th, any one of these cars can definitely win this race, like you are saying. If there's a mistake, even from our leader, Vladislav Shopov, if he gets pushed off of the racing line, he's not just going to lose 1, probably 2, and then 3rd, 4th, 5th, they are all going to be knocking at the door.
They are all going to be there and trying to gain those points. And remember, all these drivers are looking for as many points as they can, give themselves the best possible seat in the house. David Chapman takes the fastest lap points away, and all of them, they do increase here for Division 1, the points that you get. Remember, you get an extra 10 bonus points for winning this race outright, and then 5 points for pole position. That's Ade Koba. You've got 5 points for fastest lap, and then still 2 for the hard charger. So an extra 5 championship points. That can be the difference between one grid slot and the next come Laguna Seca.
And look at it all compressed up top. Ade Koba looking to the inside into Stowe. Let's see the side-by-side duel between Shopov around the outside, Koba around the inside. It looks like actually Shopov going to be able to defend that lead. And something to notice about that purple fast lap coming from Chapman, that's all the way down there in the 13th place position. Around this place, it's all about utilizing that draft fast lap by a quarter of a second.
Yeah, absolutely comfortable there, and that was beautifully done by Jaime Dalmasas, who was able to sneak on through and gain the place there on Jason Cooper as the group accordion together. So all these drivers are trying to take advantage of everyone else. The moment the front starts the battle, you get these little creases that you're trying to open up and try and take advantage of. And that, I think, is where someone is trying to fall through the cracks. Here comes the power move from Fernando Antoli at Priory. He's not going to get it.
But he was able to get the car stopped and rotated. So nice move, nice posturing from that third place car. He's right there on the bumper. And really, it was Shopov these previous few laps that had been able to kind of distance himself a little bit away from Adekoba. Well, guess what? That distance, it's now gone. He has brought everybody in tow with him. It is a fight for the win.
It is absolutely a fight for the win, and everybody is looking to improve their points. So it is one Bulgarian who leads. It is 3 Spaniards that follow. You've got 2 Brits sandwiching the American, and all of them want a victory here today at Silverstone here in Towcester in Northamptonshire. And can they manage it? 9.5 minutes to decide who wants it more than anybody else. And again, all this posturing, all this positioning, there's a reason for it. They want to be in the prime place, which allows all the overtaking to happen on some of these long straights. If you can't get it done on Hanger, you're looking for the run up to Abbey.
Now, well, look, here it goes. Adekoba already pulling out drivers right. I'm looking at Antony. He could potentially take this 3 wide. He's thinking about it. Is he going to push? No, he's going to make it 3 wide. He's looking down the inside. Antony around turn 7. Stowe, can he do this? It is still side by side. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And now Dalmas's wants in as well. Antony versus Koba. Is this the foreshadowing for Laguna Seca? Round the outside then at Club Corner, trying to get that inside line. Absolutely brilliant between these two. And they are giving no holds barred. Shopov was first on the start of this lap. He's now 3 wide for 3rd, 4th and 5th, heading up to Abbey. Just like that, the race ignites in this beautiful race that we've got going on. Inside is there. Antony now can't shut the door because of what's going on. Everybody checks up, and all of a sudden they manage to keep themselves nice and calm, and it's Adam Delmont at the back of the group who will try and pick off Morgan Burkhardt.
Yeah, he read that little compression perfectly, and Dalmas once again just licks the stamp and sends it, as Danny Ricciardo says. He gets that car stopped. He is up into that 3rd place position now, so Shopov, who was leading just a couple laps ago, finds himself down into 4th.
And that is the dynamic and the difference that is there between being at the top and not being at the top. You have to be absolutely ruthless with your car placement. Any inch that's given to any of these competitors here, Joey, and you can kiss goodbye to any position that you may have had.
Just one little mistake and it can cost you so huge. And in the case of Shopov, it wasn't even a mistake. It was just some side-by-side racing, as you see Morgan Burkhardt at the exit of turn number 1 go for a little agricultural route. Won't affect him too much, but it's sometimes just getting pushed off of the racing line, then everybody else takes advantage.
Yep, everyone wants to jump on with what they have available to them, the pace that's there, and it's going to happen again here because Jason Cooper's got an almighty run, but he's not going to get the slipstream here. He's going to have to rely on the side draft here along the Hanger Straight if he wants to make that move happen. He is getting really close to that inside. He's trying to pick up a little bit of something that launches him down the inside. Knows how important every position is going to be in the 5-star motorsport car. None of his teammates here today with him. No Lars Fischer, no Yuan Ji Lin, no Chris Knox. He's now going to have to just sit back and do it all by himself.
Now, I don't want to curse any of these guys, but I want to just say they are racing so fantastically. Shopov has been given room with everybody. Same thing with Jason Cooper. It has just been so nice to watch everybody giving each other some respect.
And they're almost at that 1-second bridge, so get this one sorted, you two. Shopov aggressive on the brakes. It's going to hold that place, and Jason Cooper will now have to fall back into line, and they're going to have to do a little bit of cooperation here to try and get back to the front 3 because they are letting the Spanish drivers here, Uno, Dos and Tres, get away.
And I think Jason Cooper actually realized that he was literally pushing Shopov into this complex here, so he is not poking the nose. He's saying, let's get teamed up, let's get lined up, let's not get this podium away from us.
Yeah, and that podium now is going to have to be really worked hard to try and manage. They are doing 2:10 lap times here in track conditions today, which you can argue are perfectly ideal. 27 degrees Celsius is the absolute perfect. Dalmases with a fastest lap and 5 bonus points. That will be the reason why that gap's opened up to 1.2 seconds. But if they start playing games, those drivers behind, they're just going to jump, they're just going to get back, and that's going to be what's worrying them. If they start not making that move, not taking turns and taking their pulls through to the front, they are going to be in a world of hurt, and already that gap comes down to 9/10, if that's 7.
I mentioned that I think it's all in the draft and snagging that purple lap, and I think Dalmas's put that on perfect display, and here we go. The run down the hanger straight at Acoba. Fully driver's right, potential to go 3 wide here again, Jake.
Through the middle, we'll try Jaime Dalmases. Anthony on the outside, Ade Koba on the inside, trying to get that pivot. Anthony with nowhere to go. Dalmases has looked absolutely beautiful this race. Ade Koba will have to relent, and through into the race lead goes one Mr. Jaime Dalmases, but they brought everyone with them.
Yes, it is a party again, but Dalmas is just a fantastic race so far. You go up and down the top 10. There are a couple movers, but up 4 positions for what is now our race leader, just putting his foot down at the right time, it seems.
It has been simply 7 faultless races that you've seen here at this point, which have allowed these 7 drivers the opportunity to go out there and battle for the race win, for the podium, and for the top 5. Each of these 7 worth their weight in gold, and each of these should be on the front 4 rows where the championship points, be it as they may. These drivers are going to be the ones who will race for it at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, and they are, I would argue, the best in the world. When it comes to this Miata-style racing, you cannot find any better drivers than this out there on the iRacing service. There will be 2 laps to figure this out. Jaime Dalmases for Zenith is looking for his first win since the summer, and he will have the weight of the world behind him, which starts with 2 Spaniards.
Well, it was the 3 that have ran away, but as you can see now, once again, 7 cars are capable of winning this race. Any one of these, even 7th place, the caboose, the green car, Adam Delmont right there. If one of these cars gets shoved out of the way, off the track, or even have a spin like we saw in the previous race, things can get turned upside down.
Everyone knows with 2 minutes and 51 seconds that the run is crucial and that timing is everything. There is Ade Koba moving over to the inside, looking to take that race lead away. Has Fernando Anthony, gives him a little bump to say, I want you to take the pull and go forward into that race lead. Everyone fans at 6s and 7s looking to try and find their angle through the corners as Dalmases finds himself slightly boxed in here, thinking about maybe the inside, but he's going to have to relent because Anthony's going to try and work on the outside. Little bit of door-to-door between the pair of them as they now rush through Club.
And I wonder, can Shopov take advantage of it, or is it going to be Jason Cooper? They're taking the shallow route, the autocross line, and here we go. 2 by 2, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Who is going to be latest on the brakes?
Well, they've allowed half a second out here to the race lead. Look at Vladdy Shopov try and find the move on the inside. Anthony has to cover, and that's going to cost him a bit of time. The shove out there is going to bring Jason Cooper through under bridge to try and steal that 4th place away, and he's going to manage it here. Has to cover off on that inside line, and Morgan Burkhart now will look to sneak around, try and take the 5th place away.
A really nice move for Morgan Burkhart as long as he can keep it tucked around the outside. That's the long way around. He will. It's still side by side between Shopov and Burkhart as we come to the white flag.
And this, the white flag on the regular season, which has been so crucial to everyone, so fantastic. 1 week to the next, there has not been a dull race through every single division so far this year. And now, here comes the charge through towards the opening corner of Cops. And now, it's about how much of a gap Ade Koba has afforded himself. 3.5 tenths of a second. It's Jaime Dalmases who is chasing him down. Fernando Anthony and Jason Cooper are the next ones to follow as they rush through Maggots. Now through the left-hander that leads into the right of Beckett's corner, and then over to Chapel, and say a little prayer as you pass the Chapel. The hanger straight now becomes the prime place, and how much is Ade going to move? Look at the serpentine start to move, start to wiggle. Who's going to make that move? Dalmases closing, all the while a 10th, but not enough yet to make that move. He's going to need a little bit of help. He might need to throw a Hail Mary at the Vale. He might need to throw one up at the Abbey to try and get this one sorted. But Ade Koba's been pixel perfect so far. Cooper's still there. And Antley on the brakes. Very nearly throws it into the back of Jaume Dalmases. Look at them bumper to bumper as they run out of club corner. This is going to be fascinating now as they head towards Abbey. Heavy defensive line taken by Ade Koba. Knows he cannot deviate from that line, and only at the last possible moment will he go to cover off Jaume Dalmases, who prioritises exit now. Can he get the up and under? Oh, he does like a glove! Like a glove! He will look for the inside of Bridge, trying to take this one away in the final regular season race. It's still Ade Koba on the inside of Priory. Still has that chance. Antley searches, but can't find anything. Seldom to that. Inside is still there. No! There's contact, and Dalmases gets demoted. Burkhart will sneak into third, but Ade Koba, absolutely magnificent. Captain Fantastic has done it again. Number one will take the pole, heading to Laguna Seca. What a brilliant win.
The number one car in the number one position, Fernando Antley, will round out second. Morgan Burkhart, I think the story of the final lap, goes all the way up, stands on the podium in third.
What an incredible display of driving here in the final stages, and still there are important places that are being decided up and down this order. The chase to the line for the likes of Tom Daly and Matt Tempest, who's on the back of that group. What a vital 22nd place finish he's managed to pick up here today. Those will be some important points as the last of the drivers then will make their way through. The last driver on the lead lap will be Sander Vara, or in fact Carl Wincott, who's had a spin on the final lap of this race. That will bring everybody over to the line on what has been simply a fantastic regular season race that we have seen, and a season that is now poised for the WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. As we watch Carl Wincott drive to the line, in fact, he'll be timed out by everyone here. There is your final race results. Ade Koba, absolutely magnificent. He gets it done in 25 minutes and 53 seconds, 3/10 over Fernando Antley, with Morgan Burkhart sneaking onto the podium at the end of that one. Jason Cooper and Vladislav Shopov will be 4th and 5th, with Jaume Dalmases 6th and Adam Delmont 7th. Jordan Svetinov would be best of the rest in 8th, with Jameson Sampaio leading through the recovering David Chapman.
Then in 11th place, we have Miles Owen. Nuno Ferreira in 12th place, Tiro Tilis in 13th, Ewan Bremer finishing 14th, Alexander Longo in 15th, Edward Grobe in 16th, Adam McNally finishes 17th, Tom Daly in 18th, Lawrence Sebastian in 19th, and Pedro Marimon in 20th.
And over the page then to the third lot of results, Matt Tempest will be promoted in the end up to 21st position, with Roberto Bruno in 22nd. Stefan Olderding will then be 23rd, and I think a penalty there for Enzo Sampaio will drop him down unserved by the iRacing system. That's why he's now down in 24th position, just ahead of Eugenio Pulici in the number 22 machine. Sander Vara will be 26th, with Carl Wincott 27th, and the two non-finishers being David Morales and Klearchos Duvantzis not taking to the start of today's race. But what a crucial start to racing that we have just had, Joey. And this is where it gets really important. There is still one more race after this. The 40 will now find themselves as decided here, and they have booked their tickets over to Salinas, California, and the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. There is simply not a greater circuit in the world where the season finale of this championship can conduct itself here on Sunday, December 17th.
It'll be really interesting too, Jake. You mentioned it's the season finale, and it's a totally different racetrack than what we just saw here today. The drivers, they have to prepare differently, totally technical, extremely low grip. Like you said, Laguna Seca, a perfect fit for these MX5 cars.
It's a perfect fit and a perfect fit that we hope that you will all join us for when that becomes available to you on the 17th. We do have a chance to talk to some of our drivers. Third place overall in the Dying Embers was Morgan Burkhardt. He stood by with Joey Atterbury.
Well, Morgan Burkhardt, congratulations on the podium finish today here at Silverstone.
Thank you very much. It was an interesting one for sure.
Now, you were mainly hanging out in that 4th, 5th, 6th place position, and I considered you just our biggest mover in that final lap. Where did you put it all together, and how did it come together?
Well, I mean, it's the last race. We've been racing with this grid for pretty much all year now, so you can kind of pick out what's going to happen and start to predict the future a little bit better. So I didn't really want to be 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I didn't really want to be in that pack when it came to the final lap. I would either want to be in the lead or where I was, and just kind of wait for things to kick off and make sure that I could get a good run through the final few corners and make sure that I could get down to the inside in the final corner. And the seas kind of parted for me, and I was able to do that.
Now, I got to ask you, leading into Laguna Seca, I know you have a ton of real-world experience in various open-wheelers, MX5s as well. Have you made it out to the West Coast to drive Laguna Seca yet?
I haven't, no. I've only been on the East Coast to drive in the real world, but I'm hoping to go there soon. But, I think it's a bit of an even playing field for everybody since it's one of the rookie tracks. So everybody kind of starts there, especially in these cars as well. So I don't really see anybody having a leg up, but yeah.
Well, congrats on the podium finish today. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Definitely the whole parallel racing group for supporting and cheering us on, and it's a really cool thing that we've got going. We're starting to do a lot of coaching, so hit me up or hit Nathan Nicholson, hit Giancarlo Schooler up for any opportunities for that. But yeah, other than that, my parents for making all this possible.
Well, that was Morgan Burkhardt, driver of the number 23 car, coming home in 3rd place today, Jake.
Absolutely. Always got to thank the mum and dad. They always make sure that you are in the best position possible. And he had an absolutely incredible run as he went through. We are going to take a chance, though, to talk with the series organizer, Sander Vara, who is here with us right now. Sander, what a regular season that we've had. So many different winners, so many great drivers up at the front. And the 40, okay, yes, over the couple of days we'll have to count, but those 40 have now been decided.
Yes, they have, and yeah, it has been a fantastic season. First try for this season, and I think it has been a great success. So yeah, we have seen the top drivers, probably the top 3 in every race were the same names. It was Adai, Fernando, and Jason, I think, who were probably the best of the best, and they're also on the first 3 places for the grid for Laguna Seca.
And just talk about that process that's coming up on December 17th, because they've raced all season. They've all looked to book a ticket, best 7 of 10 results. They now have that World Sim final, which is such an important track, such an important place to go out there and racing and go out there and race. Just as a series organizer for you, how crucial is that final race, knowing that the regular season is all about booking that place, but it's winner takes all, and the best driver on that day is going to come away as champion?
Yeah, it's a little bit like the Super Bowl of MX5 racing, right? It's you work all season and you race all season. Actually, let's say only to decide your place on the grid for that final race. So it's a bit of all or nothing. And yeah, I think that makes it also exciting. You have this whole season that you already see these exciting battles, but now in Laguna Seca, it's do or die for everyone. And yeah, I hope it will prove to be the format that we chose and prove to be for an exciting final.
And just very quickly here, in terms of just the entire series and how it's gone through, the camaraderie of the group, the fact that we've had 2 splits very consistently for the entirety of this regular season. How important has it been for you that in this first inaugural season of the World Sim Series, that there's been such an amazing turnout and everyone's been out there, have raced clean, have raced fair, and up and down the divisions, all sorts of stories from all different walks of life?
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was a, it's always a challenge to start something like this. We started with about 120 drivers. In the end, we are for this race we had a little bit over half of that for the last race. I think there's always going to be a lot of drop off, especially when you're with so many drivers. But yeah, it is satisfying to see that we're still 2 divisions. Of course, there has been a penalty system in place that might, for next year, there will be tweaked a little bit. We have to be a little bit sharper on the penalty points probably. And now when you have 3 penalty points, you will get a race ban that will probably go to 2. So people have to just be careful a little bit more. But I also like to keep the racing open and don't put too much pressure on people for having race bans already directly after the first contact, for example. It's you have to also keep it open a little bit so that people dare to race and are free to race. And I think in general everyone enjoyed it. Of course, there's also some criticisms from some drivers who might think that it's too lenient, but I think it needs to be open to race. So hopefully we can see that also in Laguna Seca.
And I'm sure we're going to see an absolutely fantastic showcase in what is about 3 weeks' time. Sander, thank you very much for joining us and bring such a wonderful series to us here at the Global SimRacing Channel. Anything you'd like to just clear up before we let you go off and toil through the night on the points?
I will definitely do the calculations tomorrow probably, as I'm off to bed soon. I think Adai has the pole in front of Fernando and Jason, so it ended the way it started tonight. But I think Laguna Seca will bring a lot of action, so I'm looking forward to the 17th, and hope many people will join the stream also.
Well, we hope so as well. Sander Vara there joining us, the series organizer here of the Simify MX5 World Sim Series. Absolutely incredible action has brought itself through here today with the Global Sim Racing Channel. We'd like to thank the team who have got it done for us here today, from Joey, from Mike, and from Dougie here today. You can absolutely catch all of our stuff. I want to give a massive thanks to all of the equipment that's helped get this one done today, including the music that you have heard from June Lalonde. You can catch her stuff on Bandcamp if you haven't already. You can always catch us on our social media, and any other broadcasts that are starting to fly across in the next few moments on screen are going to be huge, because that is what's coming up with the Global Sim Racing Channel over the next few days and weeks. If you haven't had the chance to already, do what you always do. Like, share, subscribe on any of the social media platforms that you can see up there on this screen for you. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, race clean, race hard, and we will see you at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca for your Simify MX5 World Sim Series finale.